Hey, greetings! Performance Reviews, where I give you the review from the technician's point of view. And today I have a Hoover WINDTUNNEL 2 new in the box. This machine's roughly about 20 years old. I want to say this one's from about 2006. Yeah. And I found this locally on Marketplace, just new in the box, chilling at somebody's estate sale, and I was like, I have to have that. And some of you will have experienced this machine in your lifetime, and you know where this is about to go. Some of you have no idea what this is. Nobody gets dirt like a Hoover. Nobody. A little bit of backstory on this machine. This is one of the designs that Maytag Hoover came out with to replace the original wind tunnel. It's called the WINDTUNNEL 2. And there's actually been a lot of different WINDTUNNEL 2s after this, but this is the actual infamous WINDTUNNEL 2. And these were originally a bagless cleaner with a self-cleaning rotating filter. They actually had a little motor that rotated the filter. We'll show that a little bit later. And then they would later try to fix this design by adding a vacuum bag to it. This is probably one of two machines responsible for the downfall of the Hoover name. There was the Hoover Z and this that was for sale at about the same time. I guess we could put the Dual V in there, like the Savvy Dual V. This was truly one of the machines that was the downfall of Hoover and caused Hoover basically under Maytag to go bankrupt. And this is what happens when your engineering department has their head up their ass and you're strictly making things to market. And you're bad at marketing. Unlike Dyson, who's very good at marketing a bad product, Hoover was bad at marketing a bad product. So we're gonna open this treasure and hopefully I don't get Ibasiac here and this is intact. I'm really nervous to open this. So without further ado, I guess let's unbox it. All right, let's see what's in here. Oh, okay. Well, we are greeted. Oh, I had no idea that this came with this. Oh my. I'm curious now. I had no idea these came with the hard floor tool. And let's see if this is, no, it's not a vessel work. It's not a vessel work tool. It is a knockoff vessel work hard floor tool. We've got an upholstery tool, dusting brush, crevice tool. These were sold on every Hoover. Then, we have a turbo tool. And this has the W2 logo, so that's kind of exciting. We have, oh my gosh. Oh, this is cool. So we have this handle piece. More importantly, on the handle piece, we have the WINDTUNNEL 2. There's that filter we're going to see a little bit later. And all, yep, oh, that's neat. Oh, this shows all the colors were available. And if you're not familiar, this is coming off the high of the Apple iMac. And everything was available in these colors for a while. However, by the time they came out with these colors, these were not the iMac colors. So this came out maybe 5 years too late. We have the handle. Oh, we got the hose. It's cool. We got the manual. Quick assembly guide. Oh, we actually have a Hoover website on here. Again, this is at the very beginning of this era in history. Yep, okay, so this was made this is a date code of 2006. So it's 2025, so it's 19 years in a fucking box. We have a parts list. This is great. They have the accessory part list right here. Oh, this is classic. This is just classic Hoover. This is really, really cool. All right. Something, just a bag. Let's go ahead. We have a rubber band that degraded. Let's go ahead and pull the machine out. Well, that's a good sign. It's intact. It's one piece. We didn't have a Roger moment where I got something broken. I am amazed and excited for one of the worst machines out there all at the same time. So here's what was in the box. I didn't realize these came with a extension hose or the hard floor tool. I never knew that. I don't really follow a lot of marketing. I know a lot of collectors like to follow marketing. I never have. I don't listen to the radio. I don't own a like TV subscription, and I haven't since like 2005, since before this was made. So that's just a little detail about myself. Now, wow, I'm just giddy that I have this like 20-year-old monstrosity. Okay, so here's what it comes with. We got a handle, the extra hose, the hard floor tool, the manual, the assembly guide, which is terrible, there's no pictures, a screw, a little plastic doohickey, this A-arm for the handle, the wand / handle, standard 3 tools, a turbo tool, and then the regular hose. So let's go ahead and get a screwdriver and assemble this thing. All right, because of how brittle these machines were when they were new back in the day, I'm going to actually do this by hand real quick. I did notice there's 2 sets of screws in here, and only one of those is utilized. So that's a little bit weird. I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and then just go ahead. I cannot imagine today asking a customer to assemble something with a screwdriver. That is something that thankfully has gone away, but also I don't think a lot of customers could do this today. You'd be amazed how many people don't have tools. Okay, now we have this plastic piece that presumably snaps in somewhere. I could go in on either side. All right, that is there. Now, this is one of those machines where they were copying the Phantoms and putting this loosey-goosey. I just want to show how, yeah, it is so, the tolerances are terrible on that. So that's the handle. And this handle, I guess I should point out, goes into this rubber assembly. So we're going to slide this in. It's going to lock on that thing. And yeah, it fits in this rubber assembly, and that has not dry rotted somehow. The other thing I always thought was interesting about these is there's a series of magnets right here, and the wire reinforced hose magnetizes to it. Kind of genius. It's not the worst idea in the world. I could think of some other manufacturers copying that. The problem is, as you see, they're not strong enough. But again, ideas. They were kind of throwing spaghetti to the wall and seeing what sticks. Now we also have a crevice tool that goes here. Snapping all that in feels wrong. We have a dusting brush that goes here. And we have an upholstery tool that goes here. The upholstery tool is terrible. And then, let's see, are we in frame? Close enough. Then the turbo tool, of course, goes on top. Wow. This is so weird to actually be playing with one of these. And at the time, these were sold for a little over $200. Was like their final price. I think they were supposed to sell for more originally. They may have been as high as like $299 or $300. Yep, we got that fiberglass tape on the dustbin here. Just pulling that off 19 years later. Oh, all right, so let's talk about the dustbin for a second, because it's weird. That makes no sense. It is square. 2 chambers, and it is supposed to be bottom empty. Yep, that spring's a little tired right there. So you could wash the dustbin fairly well. And it says cleans carpet better than the original brand. Let's see what we got here. Patent wind tunnel 2 technology, extra reach hose, hard floor brush, Again, I've never seen one of these cardboard doohickeys in a machine before. And this is the time where there were still Hoover stores, but most of them had gone away. And where I worked at the time, we would see these regularly for belt changes and clogs and all sorts of broken parts because they were very brittle. Wow. That's amazing. All right, let's go over some features of this machine because it is quite strange. First of all, the power button is right here, and there's a circuit board under here. There's also a circuit board down here. So there's a lot of digital communication going on in this machine. Again, kind of the first for its time. What is strange about this is even though the power button's up here, if you want to switch to hard floor, when you actually switch to hard floor, it is engaging an idler pulley. This uses a very similar setup to the original wind tunnel U8400. So that's interesting. And then the height adjustment is right there. Now, you have just like the Savvy, it's the same part right there. It will lift up, and then if you hit it again, you should be able to lie kind of flat. It's so bulbous, and like, this is such to the era. This is how the cars were. This is just so bulbous. Gosh, it's almost to my knee when it lays flat. It is just like, this is just ridiculous. Next, let's talk about the handle. So the handle is made of that rubber stuff, and it's starting to degrade a little bit, but it's never been touched, so yeah. The other thing that is going on here with the handle is you notice there's a lever right here. They're on either side. When you pull that, handle come out, and now that's there. This will telescope, and if you put this back in, telescoped, it has an adjustable handle to the user. The problem is there's so much play in there. You are in the danger zone right there. And then that would just right there. So those are kind of the controls of the machine. I guess the other thing that's a little bit weird is right here there is a carry handle that is unusual. You're not supposed to carry it by the bin. And there's no carry handle on the back. However, on the back, we have plumbing. And one has to ask a few questions. Why is this not just a direct 45 into here? That makes absolutely no sense. And of course, when you press this, oh, I think the valve is down here. Yeah, the valve is down here on the bottom. All right, yeah, this has the same sort of valve situation as some of the other bagless Hoovers. All right, so there's a valve cutting this off, and then that's what creates the suction here, and then this just seals with rubber. They ventured into sealed cartridge bearings at some point during production. I don't remember if this one has sealed cartridge bearings. Your height adjustment goes to this cast aluminum part, and then good luck if you want to get to the belts. That's a whole nother thing getting in there. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. All right, well, we're in the shop, unfortunately, with the Hoover, so we're going to see what's going on with the belt situation. And I'm going to, oh my gosh, if I break this machine, I'm going to kill myself. Okay. Let's see what is going on with the belt drive and why. So I'll just show you mechanically what happens. We have a serpentine belt on a pulley here. They would later go back to a rubber belt at some point. Maybe that was just the bagged ones. But this is the same, similar to the pulley they used in the wind tunnel. There's just no plastic casing. They just use the bearing directly. Of course, we have a wire harness here to indicate something. I think that is a Hall sensor in there. But yeah, you can see how the height just lifts up the idler pulley and disengages the brush roller. The other thing, man, I'm not sure how well it's going to come out on camera because it's clear plastic. But, yep, when you do that, you see that moves. And that is the valve that seals so that you can use the tools. And those would break on them. And then I had said I wasn't sure Again, I don't know what the fascination was with the whole two belt system. Oh, this doesn't have sealed cartridge bearings. This has the weird bearings. Okay. Let me show you what's going on inside the brush roller. We have a new bearing, but it is different. Okay. It's not sealed. So, it is crazy to see. Yeah, not sealed bearings. Wow. All right, that's crazy. This looks like it's metal to me, but it's actually plastic. So, yep, that is what is under the hood of the Hoover. So I hope that's been pleasing to see. Now I want to show something that's plagued Hoover for a very long time, which is their clear plastic. See how that cracked and broke off? That is not anything I've done. That happens to all of them. No matter how nice you are, they just were never great. And this is how they were 19 years ago. They were brittle. And of course today it's not any better. So anyways, it doesn't really affect anything. There's enough screws in here, but it is kind of iffy. The other thing that they did, and you see they use different screws for that than you do for the white cover. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and hopefully the filter still rotates. It does. All right, before the filter gets all cheesed up, let's see what the working vacuum is on it. All right, we got 45 inches sealed and about 30 inches, give or take, working. And that needle seemed to bounce directly with the filter rotating. And you can hear that while you're using it. It's just insane. However, those aren't terrible numbers, even by today's standards. All right, due to this being a bagless machine, we are not going to do a standard pickup test with it. I don't really want to Fuji up this machine. Those who are astute will notice we've switched to the studio mic. You're going to hear the real sound of this thing turning on and turning off. And we're not going to do our usual pickup test. We're just going to do this real quick and see how it does. Wow, that is a beast to use. This reminds me of my PowerCast in terms of its big bulkiness and size and just cheapness. Like, it doesn't feel quality when you're moving it around. It feels like it's about to break in your hand, and you feel the plastic getting stretched and stressed. And, it's just weird. I want to show the debris moving around because it doesn't actually have a proper cyclone the way this is designed. And watch this filter move as it's running. Oh my gosh, that is weird. Ugh, it's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible and wonderful at the same time. And we have a cavity here for something. I think the filter knocks off into this. But yeah. That is just objectively terrible. This machine has an asymmetrical cleaning path, so I'm going to see what that looks like on hard floor with the roller shut off. Well, not really noticeable. Surprising. Again, you really shouldn't run this machine for very long with it just in the upright position like this. You need to pull the tools out right away, or you need to go to cleaning. I think it's probably best to recline the machine and then turn it on, because you don't want it just to run that old suction motor like that. Valve switch over. I want to point out a very strange quirk I noticed when I was using this. So the cord is mounted high, but there's no place to clip the cord when you're using this. You could maybe do that, but there's no actual cord clip like there usually is on a machine. So that means you're really in danger of running over this cord if you're not holding this in your hand while you're using it or doing something Mickey Mouse like that. Wow. It is wild to see one of these just like fresh out of the box 19 years later. And I'm trying to remember the last time I saw one of these. I have a video on the channel explaining the circuit board problems. It's one of the first videos on the bagged version. It was already old then. So I'm thinking it's probably been about 15 years, at least since I've seen the bagless version, possibly closer to the 19 years when this was made. So it has been a very long time since I've seen one of these, and I've not really thought much about one of these. I know a lot of people focus on one brand, or they can recite the whole history of certain things. I can't do that when it comes to Hoover and when it comes to some of these niche products like that. And when you repair, you know, a couple thousand machines a year, it just kind of all fuzzes away. So seeing one of these out of the box, not broken, not a problem, not abused, is really interesting. It's given me a lot to think about in terms of not only appreciation for this, but like it's existed. How this came into my possession? Well, somebody by an Air Force base had it new in the box and was in a shed at an estate sale. And the markings on the box, I didn't want to show them, but they are to somebody's Air Force house next to an Air Force base. So presumably somebody bought this and got deployed or had to change and just forgot about it, and it was just sold off. And yeah, that's very interesting. So thank you, whoever, for your service, and thank you for the machine. It's not particularly worth anything. And that's the thing about collecting vacuums. A lot of people think, oh, they're must be worth something. They see collectors. As many of the people who subscribe to this channel know, most collectors don't spend more than about $30 to $50 per machine. It's rare to spend $100 on a machine in your collection. Now, some collectors do buy brand new machines at retail price. That's a whole other story. But yeah, so this is just weird to see. It's cool to see. It is strange. And gosh, I'm trying to think if I have other machines about this era I can compare it to. And I'm going through my head thinking about my collection, what I have. I do have a Miele from this era, of course. I have a Org Dutch Tech. That's from this era. I have the PowerCast. I have the previous Hoover to this. I do have a Hoover U8451 still. It's just objectively terrible, and if the vacuum devil could get his hands on this technology and put it into a shark today, we would all be in trouble. So, thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. If you have one of these or you've seen the Wind Tunnel 2, I want to hear about it in the comments, because this is just an obscure machine from an obscure time 19 years ago. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day.